So, anyways, I'm going to be doing that from now on. But if I heard that you want to do this this huge tangent about why daylight savings time is an abomination that should be abolished by the government.
Well, not exactly quite that. I just wanted to rant about it a little bit. But yeah, pretty much. I was thinking these thoughts, and I didn't do my research. Because what's the fun of that? And,
No,
like,
never do any research.
Yeah, don't do your research. Just say whatever you think is true, and say as if it is so. So anyway, yeah, daylight saving sucks. I don't like it, and I'm angry that people are considering that COVID is we can't go on with a directive because I don't know if you're not aware of it. The European Union had a proposal to abolish daylight savings, and it was supposed to end in 2021. And the countries of the European Union could choose so either one of the times, either the daylight saving time or the standard time, and they were going to be like change one last time and then not change the next time. And it never went through, and then it was postponed to 2022, and then it didn't go through, and now we have a war and I guess another crisis coming. I don't know what's happening in the world. I live in my cave. But yeah, so it didn't go through, and honestly, like, I don't see the point of it. I know there was some okay, I did a little bit of research, but not properly. So there were some arguments that and why it came to be, it was to save energy and yada yada yada. But nowadays, like, we have running electricity 24 hours a day. There are lights on the streets, shops open. We always have electricity on, and it no longer justifies the saving of electricity by having more daylight in specific hours of the day.
I think part of the reasoning was, I heard this a lot back in Portugal at least, where they were concerned about the children, the children, because it'd be horrible. It's bad for their mental development if you wake up in the night of all times to go to school and then come back home in the nighttime or whatever. So they wanted to keep the daylight changing, because that way when they woke up it would be morning instead of nighttime. That was the only thing I've heard about.
I don't quite get that argument, because, and this is a very confusing topic, because like time changes are very confusing. But so right now we are on standard time, and so the daylight savings time, if we did not change the daylight savings time, so right now it's what, 11:20, and if we had not changed, it would be what, 12:20?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So if the sun rising, I can check what the time sun rising is. Sunrise.
It's probably like around 7 p.m. or something. 7 a.m.
So yeah, it's 7 a.m. So if we had not changed the time, it would be at 8 a.m. And but 7 a.m. right now, which is like, this is a standard time. So when are children gonna wake up earlier?
Children? Mine and yours?
Huh? Yes, we're in standard time.
No, I was saying you said our children, like we're a married couple.
Oh. Did I say our children? Oh, Freudian slip right there, guys. Yeah. You heard it here first. Okay, so and I don't know, like in winter, man, I had checked like all the sunrises throughout the year, and so right now is the standard time, and if we didn't change it in the summer, I think it would be the sun would rise at like 5 a.m. instead of 6 a.m. So I don't understand that argument about children waking up in the night. They would just, unless they are waking up at 4 a.m. and I'm just completely out of sync with reality. I don't know what time kids go to school anymore.
So pretty much, there's some argument to be said, because some kids do wake up at around like 7 p.m. To go to school. 7 a.m. Fucking hell, man. My brain doesn't. I'm drawing. That's my excuse.
Yeah.
It's the excuse I'm always going to use. I'm drawing, even when I'm not. The kids will always be like, some will wake up pretty gosh darn early in the day, I suppose.
Okay, but let's say, so only if we kept specifically the daylight saving time instead of the standard time, then the sun would be rising like 8 a.m. And if they have to wake up at 7, they wake up at in the night. Okay, fair enough. Regardless, let's take a look here, because I mean, daylight savings is across several different countries, and several different countries are further up in the longitude. Is it latitude? Further up the latitude, or further down, closer to the equator, or closer to the North Pole, or at least in Europe. And there are many different countries that follow daylight savings, and they have different positions. So, like, what about countries that have like months of sunlight, way back in the north?
Yeah, they don't give a shit. But Portugal, and that was their argument. That think of the children, the poor children. I don't really. I'm not trying to defend it. To me, it makes no sense either. Daylight savings time is an archaic thing so that farmers could wake up and have more daylight to farm. But
they wake up with the sun anyway. They don't care about the time. I don't get that argument either. Is it because other people expect like to buy from them at a certain time or something?
I don't know, man. Listen. I don't know.
Dude, all the farmers I've worked on farms, all the farmers I know, they just wake up with the sunlight. They don't give a fuck about the time. Like, oh, time change. I cannot wake up with the sun anymore. Gotta wake up an hour later. That's how the world works. It doesn't. They literally live with the sun. Anyway, so the other thing is although it's not conclusive, there are really no studies that show any benefit to the daylight savings time now, and there are some studies that kind of suspect that it does more harm than good. And especially when we introduce daylight savings, which is in the summer, when you lose an hour. Mm-hmm. And that's when people lose an hour of sleep. And lack of sleep is really, really bad for people, apparently, who knew. Like, no matter how much of a champ you are, like, yeah, I only sleep 5 hours a day, and I work 27 hours a day. I know the math checks out. Check it out if you don't believe me. It's true. But the studies show that, I don't want to quote an inaccurate number, but so like in companies that have accidents, they record accidents over 1 year. Yeah, and then in that year, like 20% of the accidents that happen in all of the year happen on the day after the daylight savings change, something like that. And I hope I'm not quoting like a wrong number. I think it was fairly large. I don't know if it was 20%. But anyway, just check it yourself. Maybe it's like 10, and I'm lying. Maybe it's 3%. It's not 3%. It's more than 3, okay? I think it's like 20. And so doesn't that show you that, messing up with people's sleeping schedules is fucked up, even if it is 1 day? Oh, it's okay. It's just 1 day. And a lot more accidents happen on the roads during that time. Again, I don't want to quote like a wrong
statistic
percentage here. Yeah. And also, how would that affect creativity? People who are haven't slept enough.
A bit of an overreach, but you went there. You got there. We got there in the end. Well done.
Nice segue. Yeah. So what about artists? Poor artists who woke up and they're in a bad mood, and like Seth, wakes up and he wants to make like a beautiful piece of art with a beautiful monster, like having a great time in his board game, and then he's in a bad mood. He did this shit little prick that hates everyone, and then it ruins everyone's mood, doesn't it? Like
that goes back to that's an interesting conversation that goes back into the motivation of drawing. Yeah, all those little micro behaviors does affect like your. Like sometimes you plan the day before. Okay, tomorrow I have to do a drawing. I'm gonna wake up early in the morning to like maximize my daytime, and I'm gonna try and get that squid monster going so that I can use it on the board game. And then when the day comes and you just woke up with a sour mood, or like you didn't change the clocks, therefore you woke up and it's too dark out or whatever, you reach this point where it does sour your motivation to start drawing. But would that be enough for me to not draw? Probably. Like the motivation is very important. You mess that up with any artist, and
I mean, it depends on the person. Some people have the discipline to keep drawing, and I mean, we talked to a large extent on discipline, but still, it's not going to be a good day for you. You're going to have a terrible time, and I mean, your work will reflect it.
Yeah, of course. It's like an athlete. If you don't have a good night's sleep, your performance on the pitch, on the sport, will be impacted by it.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt. Oh, dude, you talk about that. There was this summer I went to a beach volleyball tournament. Like I guess the only one I ever went to. But the idea was such a shitty idea, and I thought it was a bad idea, but I tried it anyway. But it is such a bad idea. It's like it's a 24-hour marathon. So there are games happening for 24 hours, okay? Mm-hmm. And so it depends how you're matched. But in our case, we arrived around I think 5 or 6 p.m. We played games and we finished up at 5 a.m. Okay, and we went to bed and then woke up at 8 a.m. to play at 9 a.m. again. I mean, this is fucked up. Okay, I was dead on the
Go
court.
again? Tell me the time schedules.
Yeah, 6 p.m. we began playing, about 6 p.m.
Relatively
Finished at 5 a.m. Went to bed, woke up 3 hours later at 8 a.m.
You played volleyball till 5 a.m.
Yeah, it's messed up, right? And I knew it was a bad idea because I like my sleep, man. And the next day we slept like 3 hours, woke up playing again at 9 a.m. and we finished like 12 or something. And that day was so bad for me. I was in such a bad mood. I played so poorly, and then for the next like week I was messed up because of that lack of sleep. And I don't know what the idea was of that. Like my partner, she said, "Oh yeah, I've played a tournament like that before, a marathon in Italy." Like, did Italians make this up? If you're an Italian and you made this up, I blame you. Okay.
It's so that they have more time to make the cheese, the pasta primavera.
I don't know, man. It was a terrible. I don't actually get the point of that. Like, any athlete should have sleep. Any artist should have sleep. Actually, everyone should sleep. Huh? I'm not discriminating against anyone here. But if you want to be productive or if you want to be creative. There's another. John Cleese? What's his name? Cleaser? I never remember his last name. Is it Cleese?
John Cleese. I think you're talking about John Cleese, right? If you're going to talk about the creativity thing.
Yeah. Creativity versus productivity. Anyway, if you want either of them or both of them, you need rest, man. Your brain does a lot of stuff when you rest, and some people don't believe in it. I know, like people like, oh no, I'm gonna, as you were saying, like I'm gonna wake up an hour earlier so I have an extra hour in a day and I can do stuff. No, dude, a lot of the productive things you do or creative things that you do are in your sleep. Otherwise, your brain cannot function properly. That's when you consolidate information. That's when you like get and also like some people, they're all these biphasic sleeping, whatever it's called, biphasic, I don't know what you call it, how do you pronounce it?
I think they're called bisexuals.
Bisexual sleep, yeah, something like that. And by gender, by unicorn. And
don't you start with that. That's a dangerous ground you're treading there, mister.
But, okay, so sleeping, there are people who sleep fewer hours and they say, okay, it's enough for your brain to do its thing. And if you train it to do it, then it can do it. Like, I don't know, in the military or whatever. And it must be said that people are different and people require different amounts of sleep to a certain degree. But then some people push it. And one thing which people ignore is that it's not only your brain that needs recovery in the night, it's also your body. And I notice this very often. Like if I don't have a proper night's sleep and I have like a small, like not a wound, but a scratch, on my skin. And if I don't sleep enough, it's going to be inflamed. Like it's going to be inflamed.
That is interesting.
What's the word? Because your body doesn't have enough time to do the things it needs to do when you have a full night's sleep. And then I have like, I don't know, my finger hurts or whatever, my toe hurts, whatever, I injured slightly. So you need enough hours of sleep for your body to function properly. And it's okay from time to time if you don't get enough, but as a lifestyle, it's not good for you, buddy. Maybe if you have those depressing moments and you think like, maybe it's just because of lack of sleep, you just gotta get enough sleep.
Maybe that does the trick.
I mean, it really does. I mean, sleep is so good. I love it, and people underestimate it. It's like if someone asked me on my deathbed, what do you wish you did more in your life? Sleep. Just sleep.
Probably. It always feels like, because as an artist, it always happens that when you go to sleep is also the exact time to the dot where your brain starts going like, hey, I think about this crazy awesome idea. Wouldn't it be great if you now got out of bed and started working on it because it's so fresh in your mind? Because you always want to work when the idea is fresh in your mind, right? And and then and because you're in that state of uncertainty where should I get out of bed and lose sleep so that I can chase this dream, or should I just try and remember it tomorrow? Like that is important for you to have like a little notepad next to bed. Like each time you have a good idea, or even just write it down on your cell phone so that in the following morning you won't forget about it, or maybe you can grab that inspiration again.
I like that, and I have done that. And then the next day, usually I look it up, and it's utter nonsense.
Yeah,
it's utter nonsense.
It's completely useless. and to be honest, you should be embarrassed of even thinking about it. But
No, but sometimes, like I try to record a dream, but if you're in a dream state, it just doesn't work because the things you write, they make sense. Yeah, man.
I wasn't talking about a dream state, but Like lucid dreaming? You're doing
Not
like a
lucid
dream
dreaming, but like you wake up in the middle of the night for a wee, and it interrupted a dream, and like, oh man, this is such a good story. I need to write it down, and I did. And then next day I read it, and I'm like,
Oh,
what is this
no.
shit? What is this nonsense?
I'm borderline illiterate.
Yeah, that was utter nonsense. And that was on the phone. Before that, I had actually written on a notebook, but I was with my eyes half closed when I did it. And when I woke up, it was just a chicken scratching on a piece of paper. I couldn't read. It was just unusable. But I think it's a good thing to do that. I am curious. Do you? I mean, I don't. But do you exercise some form of what is it called? It's not meditation. What's that word? What people like walk around and then try to be with the environment or whatever. What do you call it? It's something awareness bullshit thing.
I have no idea what you're
do you
talking
call
about.
that?
No, maybe it's
No? God. It's not awareness. There's a word for it. Present aware. What do you call it? Anyway, well, it's sort of like, I wonder if you take any time of the day or of the week to be away from distractions and focus and
Isn't
just
that
let your thoughts
meditation?
flow. Yeah, there's another word for it, I think. I just forgot what it is. Yeah, but do you ever do something like that?
That is how I treat drawing, to be honest. Like when you're drawing or when you are... Now I don't do that as much because I stream 2,000 hours a week. But like usually when I was playing video games or when I was drawing or when I was listening to a podcast or when I was just like watching football, whatever, those are the times where I just let my brain turn off and let my batteries recharge, so to say. What I do more now is I read more books on my tablet. So I that is basically the equivalent of that, where you just... I don't know if it's the same thing as like meditating or letting like the environment wash through me, but it is a moment where I self-reflect more. Like after I'm done reading, I start, oh, actually, no, that's not true. I know exactly the right moment where I do that is when I'm washing dishes. When I'm at the kitchen, like cleaning shit up, I'm in this state of zen where I'm like just allowing the world around me to wash over me and let my brain decompress and think over things and like... just like make strategies of how to, okay, then I'm going to have to do this drawing for this because it will do that. And that's kind of cool. And maybe I should think about this and I should write about that. And then that's when I'm doing the dishes or cleaning the house is when I'm most considerate of those things. Yeah,
and a lot of people say like they do that when they shower, right? And some people have a joke like, oh, what do I do in the shower? 20% cleaning, 80% thinking.
Yeah.
And I found the word I was looking up. It's mindfulness. That's what I wanted to say. Mindfulness. And so you mentioned the cleaning part because it's like a mechanical thing. You don't need to be focused or not as much, right, to do it. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe that might help to get the creativity going. Because when you go to sleep, there's little or nothing to do. You're in bed. You're just waiting to fall asleep. So your thoughts flow through you. That's why you get those ideas. And I think if you take yourself away from distractions, you might induce that same state throughout the day. But it needs to be peaceful enough, right? If you're like in the middle of the road, I'm going to be mindful now.
I remember
there are cars buzzing around.
When I was in university, and I used to live quite far away from the university, I did a lot of that while I was walking back and forth. Like just when you're walking, you have this very mindfulness mindset that you're just kind of like thinking about your life and just in general the things that you're going to do, what you want to do, that are interesting for you to do, etc. I did that a lot. I used to walk like an hour to go to school and an hour to come. What the fuck? Why am I not writing? Why am I not drawing a gosh darn thing? There you go. I used to spend a lot of time doing just walking back and forth and using that time to self-improve, to get my my philosophy straight of who I am as a human being.
Did you figure it out?
Yeah, pretty much. I use those times a lot to just say, I shouldn't do that. I should do this. I should think more this way. Those times are really good for you to program yourself into who you want it to be.
Reevaluating your morals.
Pretty much, yeah. So that also happens when you go to bed, right? As soon as you hit the pill, you start thinking about all the cringe things that you've done in the past. Oh God, I can't believe I did that. I'm such a loser. The thing is, I don't usually like. Apparently at a certain point in my life, I decided not to really dive in on insecurities. Like, you can allow a moment of self-pity to hit you, right? You can feel like, oh shit, I really fucked up there. But then I do this. You remember a long time ago when you told me that sometimes you just give yourself like a little pat on the shoulder and said, "Good job."
Yeah.
I do a version of that, which a sound version of that, where I just say, "All right, so get out of it." Like, you just okay. You've indulged on this on self-pity or whatever. Now let's focus. And sometimes even just saying, "Dude, because I'm a bit ADHD, not really, but I'm a bit dyslexic. So sometimes my mind just kind of scatters and I have a hard time focusing. And I really need to like stand back and think, all right, Sav, you got to focus. And then it helps me just that a little bit, just to give myself a call out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good. And some people actually inadvertently program negative emotions into themselves. They just don't realize if they repeat the same things over and over. I mean, I know I did it until at some point I decided to do the opposite, as you were saying, the pat on the shoulder, or some reaffirming words. Like, even when you don't feel like you are something, you just reaffirm, well, this is who I am, or this is who I want to be, and this is what I want to,
I remember. Yeah. I don't want to call anyone out, but I've watched a lot of people while streaming that quite often have troubles with anxiety, with this sort of depression is a strong word, but it's definitely early stage of depression, where they feel like this helplessness or this sort of crushing sensation. Oh, dude, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and to be honest, I'm scared about my future, and I feel like I'm not achieving my potential. I know that I'm better than this, but like all those conversations that I see so often with different nicknames on Twitch chat, and I always feel like because I've never been depressed myself, I'm not in the position to say, dude, just snap out of it. Just talk yourself out of it like I do. But it is like you're saying, and it is like I'm saying, that sometimes you're training your brain to think negatively. And each time, like the next time that you also have that state of anxiety and depression, you go further into it instead of trying to get further out of it. I don't know. Again, I'm not a specialist, so I'm always afraid to give my opinion on the subject. I'll leave it to the actual... Oops, sorry, my microphone kind of fucked. I leave it to the actual professionals, but I always feel like allowing yourself a positive attitude goes a long way into, finding happiness. But I don't know. What do I know?
Well, sometimes we think we are more intelligent than we really are. I mean, we are, in some aspects, we can be quite simple and easy to program. Mm-hmm. I mean, just retardedly repeating like good things to yourself instead of the negative things.
Yeah,
and actually suppressing the negative things does make a difference, and you will start believing, you will start feeling it. I mean, someone was saying like, well, just stand in the mirror, smile, and say good positive things, and like have a straight posture, and you will feel good. You will feel positive. Yeah. It will be contagious.
Isn't that
like
Jordan
one
Peterson?
Thing is kind of.
Isn't that like Jordan Peterson that said that shit?
Did he? I don't know who said it. I just remember it. Maybe he did. I don't know. But I'm sure many people have said it. And it is true. If you try, I mean, I have from my experience, like I was in a foreign country. I was alone, like, well, not quite alone, but still, like mostly you just rely on yourself. And I mean, obviously you become very insecure because some things that might not go your way. And you don't really have a safety net there, right? You're in a foreign country. You don't really know many people, like what you're going to do. And that's when I started having like some sort of mantra when I repeated things to myself, like to remind myself who I really think I am, despite of how I feel right now. And that came a long way. That came a long way, because it's not that's who I am. That's how I feel now. And I would say I did feel depressed, but that's not how I feel all the time. And you gotta remind yourself, you gotta have something. If nobody else does it for you, you have to, if you want to have a healthy mindset.
Yeah.
And I know it was a big change for me, but there is a trigger. People who are depressed, I think, there has to be a click there has to be some reason for them to want to change. It has to come from within, no matter how much you try to help them, no matter what you say. Unless what you can do is like get them out of their comfort zone, put them in different environments, and that's important. Like if you're in the same environment, it's not good for you, because some things are a problem of your own self, and some things are a problem of your environment. But you don't really get to know this until you leave the environment and are able to realize that, okay, well, I changed the environment, but this did not change. Okay, it's me. I changed the environment. Oh, this did change. That's not about me. So the only thing you can do to help someone, if someone you think is depressed, is to get them out of the comfort zone and change the environment. But the will to change has to come from within.
Yeah, I think so as well. But again, wait, there's David on YouTube saying, I've been doing exactly that and changed my life so much in the last few years, but I still can get really sad. And that's the okay part that I wanted to reiterate, because we keep saying this, and people might take the wrong conclusion that if you're sad, if you're depressed, dude, just snap out of it. Be a man, dude. That's what men do. No, it is okay to allow yourself a moment to acknowledge how shit you feel. Like, it is valid. But what I'm trying to, at least what I feel like me and Jay are trying to say, is it goes a long way into giving yourself baby steps to get out of that, than to delve deeper in it. It seems silly, and I remember speaking on Twitter, on Discord with someone who said exactly that I've tried that and always just felt stupid, just saying, okay, me, let's try and be happy now, and obviously it sounds stupid, but it's something that you have to keep saying, keep reiterating, try and to give your brain a call out. But no, just to keep finishing reading what David wrote. I try to get out of my comfort zone more often now. That is also a really good idea. Yeah, exactly like you were suggesting, Jay. I'll make a brief intermission now just to say, so, looking at this drawing, do you think like anything's changed?
Oh yeah, it's smoother on the bottom, that's for sure. I haven't been paying too much attention to your drawing. It's kind of in the background of my mind.
Good.
But yeah, I see the bottom is kind of smoother.
Yeah, because this is all the changes I made so far, and then this is how it was before. So you realize that how it was before, suddenly, like this shape now, I don't know, I'm going to say this, but I'm not sure if you're going to feel it, but I do. This shape now feels like it's way more prevalent, right? Now you're looking at how much is missing there, right? And
yeah. Well, now that you, of course, like especially when you put the big red circle around it.
Okay, if I just remove it though,
it looks smoother. It looks smoother. Yeah, like there's no. Yeah.
Also, I like making a little friend over here. He has a little serpent boy, a little serpent nugget going like meh, meh. So yeah, these little changes, I like it a lot.
Okay, you have a board game. Would you give a name to your creatures or things, or you would just let people name them whatever they want?
No, definitely. The thing has a name. We need to think.
What is it called?
I don't know. I call it. Let me see.
Still don't know how you see a monster here. I see like a machine thing with random. I would call them wood branches, not even tentacles.
I call it a sewer horror.
Sewer horror.
That's the name I gave the file. It was just like I needed to name it something so I wouldn't forget, so I just call it a sewer horror. Okay, right. So you don't see a monster here yet. Therefore, I think I need to fix his little head shape.
Yeah, like the head. I don't see that as a head. I mean, I can tell the spherical thing. Okay, it kind of looks like a head, but the front of it, or maybe that's the back. Maybe it's ass. It's the monster's ass, and we're looking at the back of it. I don't know. It doesn't look very alive.
It just looks like a big pillar. I mean, that's kind of the interesting part.
It looks like
a
lamp. It's just a lamp, man.
The attack of the killer lamps. Yeah,
it's a head-shaped lamp.
Okay, so I have to make this more monstrous. All right, I think I can do that. I think it's easy. I think
not monstrous. I think alive is the right word.
To be honest,
that's what it's lacking.
All I need to do is basically just give it like a row of teeth, and
maybe. But I mean, do you think what is that thing around the sphere of light? This is just rocks engraved in it. I don't see it as anything alive.
I call it like
no, on top.
These little things, or even further up.
Yeah, those little things.
I just think these are like barnacles or something. Like, have you seen like a giant whale that has like a bunch of barnacles attached to it?
No, I haven't, but I see what you mean, and now I'm hungry. This is a hunger monster. Let's call it a hunger monster. Can we call it
Looks
a hunger
shapeless.
monster?
Yeah, a hunger monster. That's way too vague. We need to call it something a little bit more cooler. Like I called it a sewer horror, but it was just like like a little what do they call it? Like a placemaker name. So we can replace it with something else. Yeah, it's not a placemaker. What's it called? When you give
Placeholder?
Placeholder name. Yes, there you go. And David does agree that he looks like. Sorry.
What?
David, you're killing me. He says he looks a little bit shapeless. So I want to try and give him a little bit more. All right, the next point I'm going to be trying to fix, and then it's going to be his face. So, do you want to talk more about that? I like that conversation on depression because I don't know, man.
Mental health. Let's call it mental health.
Mental health, yeah. Because I am a big proponent of being open with it, of always being, don't be afraid. Like so often it happens a lot as well when someone is like feeling down that they are afraid to speak up. Like, I don't want to burden you with my problems. And I'm a big proponent of, no, it's fine, you can say it. Oh, but I've said it so many times. No, say it one more time. Like, there's only one way for you to get out of that rut, is if you keep being honest with your emotions and work your way out of them. So yeah, mental health is hugely important.
I think to add on to that, I don't even know. I'm sure different people get it from different places, but at least me, as growing up, I did feel like, feeling sad or whatever, or as a man crying, or those things are bad things that shouldn't happen, and then you kind of repress and suppress it, whichever way you want to. If it's not clear, suppressing is like consciously ignoring it, and repressing is unconsciously ignoring it. And yeah, I mean, I think we get this influence, but feeling sad is actually a healthy thing. Life is ups and downs, right? And you have to go through them. It's a healthy thing. You can't always be going up, up, up. Where are you going to end up if it always goes up? Because if you're in the same spot and does, like, your mood doesn't change, you're just stale, and then you're just a walking, I don't know, a zombie. You just have no emotions, right? And if it's going up all the time, all the way up, what's going to happen? I mean, what's the climax? It doesn't reach it. There is no climax. That's why we have the word climax. It's you reach the peak and then you go down, and sometimes you go further down below, and that's normal. Now when I have depressing moments, I use it as a moment to, like, get away from people, from things, and that's okay, and just reflect, and that's fine. That's a healthy moment. Maybe that's what that's what your nature is telling you to do. Like, you just need to get away from people and need to reevaluate certain things, because you've been going at it. You have routines, like we all have routines, just every day, all day, same thing over and over again, and you just gotta reflect upon it. What has happened? Does anything change? Do I like what's happening? Am I happy with this? Do I want to continue this? What do I want to do? That's the moments when you are depressed, you can reflect upon things. And it's okay to be sad. It's not okay. I think it's a healthy thing. You gotta go down there to go back up. And so it's just how we perceive things and we portray things. And obviously there's some people who lived like tragedies in their life, right? And that's, I cannot comment on that. That's something different, and maybe you do need some help. But generally,
some
day-to-day
hardcore
life,
shit. Trauma is different. Ignore us.
Yeah, that's.
You're not telling you to just shrug off and walk off of child abuse.
Yeah, but day-to-day, like depression and feeling sad and all this, and just not feeling good, or you had a bad day, or someone like berated you, and then it like fucked up your day. Like for me, I have construction noise over the more than 1 year in my building now, and it really fucks me up because I don't get enough sleep. And I cannot repeat this enough. Like, do get some sleep. Like, the moments I feel the worst are when I'm sleep deprived. That's when I'm like at my worst. Like, I'm not a good person. I don't like myself. I don't like other people. I just hate everything. Just let me sleep. Okay, sleep. Just really sleep and eat. Like, if you're hungry, eat. Don't.
But what about people that have insomnia? How do they get a snap out of it?
Oh, well, yeah, I cannot stop.
You're fucked.
We're gonna start another podcast about that. You gotta seek the answer to that somewhere else. Or maybe there is no answer. Maybe you use those moments to not sleep and do whatever. I don't know. I don't know how insomnia works, so I can't make any comments on that. I have had days that I'm sleepless. I don't think that's insomnia. And again, I think it's kind of the same thing. You don't take yourself out of a certain... don't take time for yourself to reflect. Maybe that's why you can't sleep, because you just can't calm down, because you haven't thought things through. You're not able to, go back to your, what is it, the water level? I don't know what you want to call it. The level of the middle point. Not happy, not sad, not nothing. Just you gotta return there. Pull back, reevaluate, reassess.
What time?
And then start over.
What time are we in? Oh fuck! It's almost noon. Actually, I've been spending a lot of time with this boy, and
Sev's gotta go.
Maybe not gotta go just yet, but oh god! But we really don't have enough time to delve into another new topic.
See, daylight savings fucked us up.
Actually, I think it was more
No, in this case, it would have been 1 o'clock already. I think.
Yeah. Well, see, does he look more like a monster now? Or friend Jimmy?
Yeah, I still like the part where the face is supposed to be on the spherical thing is still not. It doesn't look right to me. But I see you have like sort of a mouth kind of thingy. Yeah, it's more. I can see it more now.
Okay, we're making progress. I want to see if I could finish this work.
I just don't like the front part of the spherical thing. It doesn't look very alive.
Sorry, what do you mean by front part? You mean like
yeah, the light thing, like, and the barnacles. Yeah, that's just doesn't look right.
Doesn't look
just
very
doesn't
alive?
look.
Just needs
it
like
just looks like a bunch
big
of
eyeball?
rocks. Yeah, a bunch of rocks with a hole in the middle.
There's a big eyeball over there, big human eye. Does that work?
Oh, there you go. Yes, it definitely does. Especially when it's red. It's like, yeah, that's it. Done. That's all it needed.
Damn it!
Can you make it cute as well though? Just so to
you
throw
want me
people
to-
off.
Do you want it to blush?
To throw people off. I love it. I love it.
Oh, senpai. Oh, when the adventurers in the sewer notice me. Oh.
Dude, this is genius. Look what you have done. I love this.
Actually, like how do oh god, this is the point where I wish I watched more anime, because they have so many shorthands for making cute anime shit. I think one of them is just making the eye sort of like this, like
Okay.
like making it a perfect sphere, but then erasing like just the very top of it,
So it looks like a weird heart that's not shaped like a heart.
and then a little bit on the like something like that. I don't know, man. I wish I saw and practiced more anime shit. And actually,
Yeah,
no,
but
no, I don't.
it looks kind of like a heart thing, but it's not shaped like a heart.
Oh,
Oh, you can do like the Rick and Morty eyes, which is like
just a little
smudge,
weird
a smudge.
smudge.
Yeah.
It does look.
I love it. Well,
That does look like
let's call this a love horror.
Going back to David, lol, guys. My father spent a lot of time drawing and painting. Am I your father, David?
Oh.
Anyways, that's. I think I'm going to be
never
working.
a good drawer, so I never got into it. So I cannot participate on a professional level.
It doesn't matter. There is no such thing as professional drawer.
Yeah, Sev wishes he was paid for this.
Yeah, I do get paid for my drawings, but
Not for this.
for this,
you?
no. I get paid for drawing people. Ugh.
He wishes he was paid to draw horrors.
Pretty much. Hey, some would say that the people I draw are pretty horrific.
Oh snap!
Not really.
Way to glue that.
Not really. There you go. I like his little open mouth. I like his little teeth Z's.
Talking about the paint.